Probably the most important thing that I can tell you about what to do with working with these brushes is to simply load my custom palette that I created for you. If you remember, we put in the JSON brushes when we started in the last chapter, and now we're going to access those by coming over here and going to this context menu and choosing from our brush library command here. Instead of using Painter brushes, which is Painter 12 brushes, we can choose the JSON brushes. Now you can change this at any point in time. As you can see, we're right in the middle of a painting now, and I've just changed to JSON brushes. And if you open this up, now you'll see that we end up with a very different looking set of options here. For one thing, there's a lot less variance and there's a lot less categories. So this just sort of simplifies the user interface for you. I kept what I thought were the best brushes in Painter. Almost all of these have been tweaked significantly from the original brushes in Painter, or they were brand new created specifically to take full advantage of Painter's brush engine. So I highly recommend that you work with these JSON brushes. And as a matter of fact, for the rest of this training, I'll be working from these JSON brushes. Now, you can switch back anytime you want to by going back over here to Brush Library and choosing Painter brushes. Now, if you're a Painter 11 user and you want to access your Painter 11 brushes, then they're right here. So we're just going to go ahead, like I said, and stay with our JSON brushes. And I'll just go ahead and show you very quickly some of the JSON brushes that you might find interesting. For instance, right here, we have these digital airbrushes. These are new in Painter 12. And generally speaking, I didn't change these because I kept them in here because they are new. It's a new type of digital airbrush that is taking advantage of different technology that is brand new to Painter 12 that makes it a lot more in line with what you would expect from programs like Photoshop. So I highly recommend that you check these guys out. And a good example of this would be like the digital soft flow airbrush. So let me choose a darker color so that we can see this. And you can see here that I'm getting a brush stroke that is very Photoshop-esque, which is not typical if you're a user of previous versions of Painter. You would not typically see this type of effect. Now, what is a more traditional airbrush is down at the bottom here. We have natural airbrush and we have natural airbrush 2. So if I were to go ahead and use either of these, you'll see that we're ending up with a much more realistic traditional Painter airbrush. And in this instance, we're actually getting the speckles from the spray of the airbrush like we would normally expect. And of course, these are opaque, so they can be layered with different colors, one on top of another, like so. And we can begin to do very complicated effects utilizing these brushes. If you're paying attention, by the way, to my icon, you're seeing that I'm tilting down to get that spray up. If I tilt the opposite direction, I'm spraying down. So that's one of the key things to understanding how to use the airbrushes is the direction you tilt is the direction that that spray is going to be going. And in airbrush work, that's known as the overspray. So if we're just straight up and down, we're going to get kind of a circular pattern. And what we're getting here is what's called continuous time deposit, which means that as long as I hold down, I'm getting more and more paint. So if I hold it like this, I'm getting more and more paint that's continually depositing. And that's very true of how a traditional real-world airbrush would work. So let's go ahead and choose like a blue color here, and I'll go ahead and put that in, and then maybe a lighter blue like that, and then maybe up here like so, like so. So you can see here we can layer these up and we can work with these to develop traditional airbrush type of effects.